So we are going to be checking out a fresh new to me tool here. I picked this up recently to augment my spraying possibilities here in the greenhouse and in my other gardens. And this was an interesting product. So there's a bunch of different sprayers out there. I've reviewed a couple on the channel. Really good stuff from Petra Tools that I really like, but this is different. So this is the part of the Ryobe One series, and this is a fogger that also has the added advantage of electrostatic attraction. So, let me get the box out of the way here. Here's the unit itself. It comes in a nice size. This is a 1 gallon container here. So, little backpack, shoulder sling kind of setup here. And then we have the actual tool. Pretty straightforward pretty straightforward operation here. We got a trigger for on and off. On the side here, this is where you would turn on or off the electrostatic feature. That the idea being, with a little static charge to the mist that's coming out, it's actually going to come around and actually kind of encompass the plant and give you very even spraying. A couple things I really liked out of the bat. Nice big knob for turning between high, medium, and low flow. And then if you keep going, there's this bit here. Let me turn around the camera. It says remove nozzle. So cleaning is always a pain, except with this unit, the nozzle comes straight out. And then you can soak this. If you're really behind on your maintenance, I guess you could scrub it down. You could flush it right from the back. And there is the manufacturer nozzle, the port that goes into it. So there's not much that could be too much more simple about this. And I'm going to give it a test go. So first I'm going to just load it up with a little water, some Ryobi water off my filter system there. And we'll just take it out by one of the outdoor gardens, see how it does. And then when the sun goes down a little bit, I think we're going to do this week's treatment with the Ryobe. Now, before we throw some water in it, battery power. Now, I picked this up pretty cheap because I got the kit without the battery, but I've already added something here. This is a battery converter. So I don't actually own any other Ryobe tools, but nobody else makes a tool like this. I have a bunch of rigid tools. They've served me very well. And this is a rigid to Ryobe converter. Pretty cool. And just kind of put it in there. And then you grab your battery. And in my case, I got my little 1.5 amp hour rigid battery. And you just drop it right on there. And that's it. So there's a few companies that make different battery converters. There's a fair chance that as long as you've got an 18 volt system, because that's what Ryobe uses, Rigid happens to use it as well, there's probably a converter out there. So this is a tool you can entertain without having to invest in a new battery system, which is very, very attractive to me. All right. I'm going to throw some water in this and see what it looks like out in the outside gardens.
Okay, so here we are. First observation, this is a little cantankerous to give priming. So priming is when you're getting your fluids initially from your container down to your spray. A little poking around online. And for the most part, people have discovered that if you lay it on its side, so just the sprayer part, and then squeeze the trigger, it'll start priming just fine. So if you do end up picking up one of these, and you're sitting there, you're squeezing the trigger, and just you hear the motor but no spray, there's a good chance that might be it. So, turned it sideways, got it primed, and there you go. It's pretty quiet. I've certainly tried sprayers that are a lot louder. The mist on high, it's kind of like an ultra fine garden hose. Medium, it's notably finer. And then low, it's really fine. This is right up there with just south of what you'd get from like a fogger, like the Petrotools mini fogger or even the big backpack ones. Noise wise, it's not bad. We've got some okay cloud cover, so I'm just going to go across this bed here and see what I can get in terms of coverage and give you an impression of it. All right, we're going to go handheld here. Got the backpack on, and I'm just going to start it out at low and see what we get. So here we go, spraying it low, not terribly loud. And a very fine mist. I'm getting about, well, from right here at the very front of my bed, it is just barely hitting the greenhouse there. So that's about 3 feet in my case. There's a fair amount of leakage that comes out the end here. I'm not sure how I feel about that. The mist, though, is wonderfully fine. And actually, you know, here we go. Here's a good idea. This will give you a nice clean idea. Look at this young tomato plant here. And you should be able to get a glimpse of that in the video. It's super apparent in person. It is just the tiniest fine little particles of water on all the hairs of that tomato plant. That's great for a fine mist. Let's try medium here. All right, so we're going to change the collar here. We're on medium. So substantially more distance. So I'm probably 1.5 feet back. I've got a little bit of a breeze going here, and it's still reaching well into the bed. And you know, if it wasn't for the breeze, well, there you go. It is hitting the side wall of the greenhouse there. No leaking whatsoever. So I'm wondering if my fine nozzle might be a little bit clogged. Let's see. Let's spray down this nasturtium and see how much water buildup we get. Now, nasturtium have a fairly waxy surface on their leaves, and this will build up little globes of water, which you can see, look, right there in the middle of that one. And a few there. So even on medium, this is really quite a fine mist. So let's go ahead and try out high. Now, first impression, this is spraying much, much further. Let's see how far back. Even with this slight breeze I got going here. There we go. Just stop hitting the greenhouse side. I'm every bit of 6, maybe 7 feet. I should probably measure that one. Actually, I would say 7 feet, easy. And I'm definitely getting plenty of runoff down the side of the greenhouse. And the water output is really solid. I mean, this is more like what I would expect from, like, say, a pump sprayer or something like that. If you just wanted to give a nice top soaking, so, I don't know, the way that you'd water really young seedlings, something like that. Not a bad solution for an all-around sprayer. So, I don't know, you know what, for, I think it was just under $50, I'll put a link to the battery-less version, as well as that adapter, in case you're interested in those rigid battery adapters. But, this is something like a nice in-between. Now, the last setting here, right under the tag, there's the electrostatic. Now, that introduces a little bit of a charge to the mist that's coming out, in the hopes that it'll go around and more completely cover the plant. So, you know what? Let's go over to this other bed here. Ignore the fence pieces. All right, so this bed hasn't had any spray on it whatsoever. Let's see. So this is on fine. I don't think this is really showing up on the video, but this is kind of wild. You can actually see it kind of swirl around the plants, the leaves a little bit. So, I don't know, there might be something to this. We'll see. I'm going to keep experimenting with it. I'll post a follow-up video if I find anything new, but this looks like a pretty solid $50 to spend if you need some kind of sprayer fogger, and that electrostatic feature does seem to augment what's going on. Well, there you have it. the Ryobi 1 gallon backpack electrostatic sprayer. I have to say, for $50 thereabouts, I'm pretty impressed. If you go with the battery converter like I did to use non-Ryobi batteries on it, it was about $20 more for that converter, but $70 total, and it stands up to what it says it's going to do on the box. The medium and low settings do have solid output, pretty good reach. I mean, the high was reaching easily 7 or so feet. The whole test I did across this bed used about 40% of a gallon. And turning on that electrostatic feature with the low mist setting does seem to improve the overall coverage. It's something new to me, so I'm going to keep trying it out, see if it holds up to what I think I was seeing in the gardens. This actually might be a solid tool. So as always, I will have links to everything down below. They are links that I will earn a small commission on, and I appreciate you being willing to use those. Every little bit goes a long way to helping me make more content. So have fun, enjoy your gardening, and make sure that you plant it all.